The silent return the stars had long forgotten the humans. After the War of Judgment, the Galactic Union had cast Earth out. Every human ship was hunted, every colony erased. The last warship, the Valor, was ordered into deep space and declared, lost. No signals. No trace. For the galaxy, it was over. But not for the Valor. Captain Liam sat alone on the command chair. He had gray in his beard now. The ship's crew was quiet, disciplined, and broken in silence. They had not seen another human in over a decade. The ship's AI, Nora, was the only voice that spoke often. Coordinates locked, Nora said gently. We are entering Union space. Liam's hands tightened on the armrests. Let them see us. The Valor had survived not just space, but betrayal. After the exile, it had hidden in the dead zones beyond known star charts, gathering data, upgrading systems, and building weapons no other race had seen. The crew had trained every single day. No sleep without readiness drills, no hour wasted. Liam remembered the day the banishment order came. The Union called humanity too violent, too unpredictable, and too dangerous. Their crime: winning too many wars. Earth didn't start most of them, but it ended all of them. The Union feared Earth, so they exiled it. But one message had changed everything. A whisper came through the void 3 weeks ago. A hidden broadcast from a small outpost on the edge of Union space. They found an Earth colony, Nora reported that day. They are burning it. Liam had stared at the screen, silent. Then he stood up, voice cold and steady. We return. That was 3 weeks ago. Now the Valor moved through space like a shadow, its stealth field pulsing. The ship was old but powerful, rebuilt in secret, armed with railguns, stealth drones, and new plasma cores. The galaxy thought it was gone. They were wrong. Approaching the colony ruins, Nora said. Liam looked at the screen. Ashes floated in orbit, buildings shattered, life pods torn open, no survivors. Scan for Union signatures. Confirmed, Nora answered. A Union. Destroyer is nearby, not expecting combat. Liam's eyes narrowed. Power weapons. The Valor hummed with life. The lights dimmed. The railguns extended like steel claws. No warning. No speech. Just fire. The first shot ripped through the Union destroyer's shields, the second shattered its engines. Within seconds, the enemy ship cracked in half. Signal intercepted, Nora said. They know we're back. Liam leaned forward. His voice was quiet, filled with rage. Then let them fear what they exiled. Fear spreads through the stars. The Valor vanished before the wreckage stopped spinning. It didn't wait. Stealth engines flared to life, slipping the warship through a corridor of deep space that no patrol scanned. Liam stood on the bridge, staring at the holomap. One red dot blinked where the Union destroyer had been. More red dots began appearing. Alert beacons, emergency messages, fleet movements. They're reacting faster than expected, said Nora. They're scared, Liam replied. They should be. The bridge crew moved without a word. No one asked if what they were doing was right. They had seen too much. Friends killed during the exile, colonies wiped out by Union forces pretending to maintain peace. Liam and his crew knew this wasn't war. It was judgment. Next target? Asked the weapons officer. Liam pointed at the map. Outpost 17, the same one that sent the distress signal. We'll burn it clean. The Valor slipped through a dust field near a shattered moon and appeared at the edge of a cold system. A mining colony floated near a pale star. It had once been a human post, but the Union had taken it over, filled it with guards and machines. Now it was their base. They use it to watch for human signals, Nora said. They monitor the dead zones. Liam's face hardened. Then they'll be blind when we leave. The Valor fired without hesitation. Drones poured out from its underbelly, tearing through the sky like hornets. Within minutes, the station exploded from the inside. Escape pods launched, but the Valor ignored them. Message sent? Liam asked. Broadcasting now, Nora replied. Signal raced through the galaxy, short, encrypted, brutal. We are back. You exiled us. Now we return fire for fire. Across the stars, leaders of the Union gathered in panic. The high chair of the council shouted, "Find the ship. Destroy it. Humanity was ended." "No," whispered one ambassador, reading the decoded message. "We only pushed them into the shadows, and now the shadows move." The council feared war, but what they feared more was something they couldn't see. The Valor didn't act like a fleet. It didn't negotiate. It didn't ask. It punished. Liam stood silently as the stars ahead bent with speed. He looked older now, wearier, but something fierce burned in his eyes. "Nora, how long until we reach the core systems?" 4 days. "Then that's how long they have left." He walked past the control deck. Soldiers nodded. Engineers stared with purpose. They all knew what this was. They had not come to win a war. They had come to burn an exile into memory, and the galaxy would never forget them again. The Council's mistake. The Galactic Council chamber was in chaos. Representatives from over 30 systems shouted over one another. Holograms flickered. Emergency reports flooded the central stream. The image of the destroyed Union outpost rotated in the center of the room, its core still burning. The high chair slammed the podium. "Order!" The voices quieted, but tension hung heavy in the air. "Who authorized the destruction of that Earth colony?" the chair demanded. "Who brought this upon us?" No one answered. A diplomat from the Hilari system stood slowly. "We assumed Earth was gone. That colony had no record in our files. And so we wiped it out," shouted another. "Do you know what they've done in return? A single ship has torn apart 2 military outposts in under 20 hours. "It's not just a ship," whispered one counselor. "It's the Valor." Silence spread like ice. The Valor was a myth now, a ghost of humanity's last war effort. The Union had forced it into exile thinking the crew would fade, that the engines would die. But they didn't. They adapted. They survived. "They've declared war," someone muttered. "No," said the Hilari. "They declared vengeance." Back aboard the Valor, the crew prepared for the next strike. They weren't just choosing targets, they were choosing symbols. Every attack was calculated. Each one shattered a part of the Union's pride. They moved toward a weapons facility on the moon of Grail. It had supplied munitions for the Union's campaign against Earth. "Weapons offline," Nora reported. "Why?" Liam asked. "Because they've already evacuated. They know we're coming." Liam stared at the empty moon base. The sensors picked up no resistance. Just silence and fear. "They're running now," said the weapons officer. "Like we did once." Liam didn't smile. He didn't feel triumph, only purpose. Launch the strike anyway. Leave nothing behind. Drones rained fire on the facility. Explosions lit up the dark sky of Grail. The Valor circled like a bird of prey, ensuring nothing remained. It was not revenge for one attack. It was a message. Exile was a mistake. After the mission, the crew gathered in the war room. The lights were dim. A map showed Union space. Each red dot marked a former human world. Liam pointed at a system near the heart of Union territory. "That's where they sent the final vote. The banishment order. The declaration." "What's the plan?" asked one officer. "We take it," Liam said. "We make them remember." He walked away, voice echoing in the metal hall. No more silence. No more hiding. We bring fire where they gave us shadow. And so the Valor moved again, toward the heart of the enemy. But the Union wasn't finished yet. On the other side of the galaxy, a new fleet gathered. Not to negotiate, but to finally erase what they failed to kill years ago. The trap at Meridian Reach. The Valor broke through slip space into the Meridian system, a core Union stronghold, full of history, trade, and command centers. Long ago, it had been neutral during the War of Judgment. But after Earth's exile, it became the beating heart of the Union's power. Now it pulsed with fear. Nora scanned the system. Civilian ships have been moved, military traffic high, something's wrong. Liam narrowed his eyes. They're not running anymore, they're setting a trap. The crew had expected defenses, maybe a blockade, but the numbers were far greater. 4 destroyers, 2 battle cruisers, and a massive carrier, all waiting around the main orbital station. The Valor floated just outside sensor range, cloaked in silence. They finally decided to stand and fight, said the weapons. Officer Liam leaned forward. Good. We need them to. But secretly he knew the risk. The Union had underestimated humanity once, but now they had prepared for the return of their ghost. The Valor had power, yes, but it was one ship, one ancient vessel held together by willpower, genius repairs, and a burning desire for justice. We can't take them head on, said Nora. Not all at once. Then we don't, Liam said. We split them up. The Valor drifted closer, still unseen. Then it launched a decoy drone, fast, small, broadcasting human heat signatures and encrypted messages. Instantly, 2 destroyers broke formation and gave chase. They're reacting, Nora reported. Tracking systems shifting. Carrier is not moving yet. Time to strike, Liam ordered. Now. The Valor jumped again, this time inside the defensive perimeter. Its appearance was a thunderclap. Turrets swung too late. Shields tried to rise, but the first volley of railgun fire had already punched through the closest ship's engines. Explosions rippled across the station's lower ring. Alarms screamed in every language. Civilians watched in shock as a ship they thought extinct reappeared and tore apart their defenses. From the bridge of the carrier, Admiral Kiro watched in disbelief. How is that ship still operational? It's tearing through our flank, sir, an officer cried. It's like it knows where everything is. Of course it did. The Valor had spent years studying every Union fleet movement, base layout, and tactical response. It knew the Union better than the Union knew itself, but time wasn't on their side. The other ships are turning back, Nora warned. They'll be here in minutes. We're done here, Liam said. Light the station and move. The Valor launched. Its last wave of drones, explosive charges set along key reactor points. Within moments, the station lit up like a dying star, its orbit collapsing in a slow spiral. The Valor disappeared again, gone before Union reinforcements arrived. But this time, it didn't vanish in silence. It left behind a signal. Meridian was the first to vote for exile. Let them now vote on fire. Across the Union, fear turned to dread. The ship they cast out had become something far worse than a weapon. It had become a reminder, and it was heading straight for the capital. The capital prepares to burn. The Union capital, Varel Prime, was a world of glass towers and shining skies. It had never seen war. Not directly. Its fleets had always fought far from home, and its leaders had always been sure that no enemy would dare approach. Until now. High above the surface, orbital defense. Rings spun quietly. Thousands of cannons, mines, and shield arrays were powered up. For the first time in centuries, the planet declared full-scale martial alert. Inside the Grand Command Hall, leaders of the Union gathered with tight jaws and heavy fear. They've already destroyed 3 key systems, a general reported. No warning, no demands, just destruction. Another diplomat whispered, "This ship, it's not attacking for victory. It's making us remember something we tried to erase." The high chair stood slowly. Humanity was not exiled because they were evil. They were exiled because we could not control them. Now one ship proves our mistake. The room fell into grim silence. Then came a sound, an alert tone. "New contact," a voice crackled from the orbital command center. "Unidentified ship just exited slipspace. It's the Valor." The chamber fell dead quiet. Out in space, the Valor faced the capital alone. Its black hull bore the scars of 100 battles. Its engines burned with a strange glow, evidence of modifications beyond Union science. It moved slowly, deliberately, right into the heart of enemy territory. "Scans?" Liam asked. Calm as ever. "Hundreds of turrets," Nora said. 12 defense ships in orbit, surface shield at full. Liam nodded. "Good. Let them see." Inside the Valor, every crew member was at their station. Some had been born on the ship during exile. Others had lost families in the purge. All knew the risk of this moment. Liam opened a broadcast channel. It wasn't encrypted. It wasn't hidden. It was for all to hear. "This is Captain Liam of the human warship Valor. You exiled us. You hunted us. You buried the truth. But the truth lived, and now we return not for peace, not for war, but to end the silence. The Union's defense system's locked on. They're preparing to fire," Nora warned. "Then let them." The Valor accelerated. Alarms rang out across Varel Prime. Civilians ran for shelters. The defense fleet moved to intercept. Lasers lit up the darkness. But the Valor didn't flinch. It dove through the chaos, countermeasures blinding sensors, drones intercepting missiles mid-air. The ship seemed unstoppable until it was hit. A heavy plasma cannon struck the left engine wing. Sparks flew. The Valor shook violently. "Injury reports coming in," shouted an officer. "Weapon still online," Nora confirmed. "But we can't take another direct hit." Liam stared at the screen. Ahead was the Capitol Tower, the very place where Earth's exile had been declared. "Target the Council Spire," he said. One final railgun aligned. Fire. The round shot through space like a thunderbolt. It pierced atmosphere, tore through shields, and exploded into the tower's base, bringing down the symbol of Union power in a single moment. The Valor didn't stay to watch it fall. With its hull cracking and fire licking at its side, the ship turned away and shot back into the stars, disappearing once more. Back on the surface, the tower lay in ruins. For the first time in history, the Union capital had been struck, not by an army, by one ship, one forgotten warship that refused to stay buried. The Ghost Fleet awakens. The Valor had vanished into deep space again, wounded, but alive. Inside the warship, emergency lights flickered. Crew members moved quickly, patching hull breaches, rerouting power, tending to the injured. Sparks flew from broken panels and smoke curled in the corridors. But the crew didn't panic. They were used to this. For them, damage was a normal part of survival. In the command center, Liam leaned against a railing, his face pale and blood on his sleeve. He hadn't left the bridge since the attack on Varel Prime. "How bad is it?" he asked. "Left engine nearly destroyed," Nora replied. "Shields are down to 12%. We need time." "We don't have time." A quiet voice from the strategy officer spoke up. "We need help, Captain. One ship can only do so much." Liam looked at the cracked main display. He knew they couldn't keep going like this. The Union would adapt. They were already mobilizing fleets and setting traps. The next battle might be their last unless... He opened a hidden file in the system, one labeled Project Emberfall. "Prepare a long-range signal," Liam ordered. "Broadcast to deep code frequencies. Use the Emberfall beacon." "Sir?" Nora asked. "That signal hasn't been used in... I know, but if anyone hears it, we won't be alone." Nora paused for 2 seconds, then nodded. The signal went out, silent to most ears but not to those who had served Earth and vanished during the exile. Hidden ships, abandoned colonies, remnants of what humanity once was. Far across the galaxy, in the ruins of a human research station hidden inside a dead nebula, something stirred. A reactor powered up. Engines cold for years began to glow. Old crew members gathered in dusty control rooms reading the signal. "The Valor is alive," one of them whispered. Elsewhere, inside a drifting carrier once thought lost to a black hole, a pilot smiled. "It's time." Across the stars, ships began to move, ghosts of the past, forgotten warriors, hidden weapons. They had waited for the call, and now it had come. Back aboard the Valor, Nora pinged the bridge. "We're receiving responses. Multiple vessels. Old human frequencies." Liam exhaled slowly. For the first time, there was something more than vengeance in his voice. "Then let the Union see what they tried to bury." He turned to the crew. "Set course for Discari Line. That's where their reinforcements are forming." "We can't take a fleet like that alone," someone said. "We won't be alone," Liam answered. "We just lit a fire across the stars." As The Valor limped through space. Blinking lights appeared behind it. Warships, cruisers, frigates, even stealth corvettes. Some were ancient, some were upgraded beyond recognition. All bore the markings of Earth. Humanity's exiles had returned. But now they were many, and the Union's greatest fear was coming true. The ghosts of the past had become a fleet of fire. Fire across the stars, the Discari Line, a massive stretch of territory filled with Union battleships and fortified command stations, had never been breached. It served as the final wall between the galaxy's core worlds and the outer reaches. No enemy had ever crossed it. Until now. Dozens of blips lit up Union scanners. One by one, unidentified ships dropped out of slipspace, surrounding the Discari Line from all angles. Some were massive dreadnoughts, others sleek and fast. All bore the same signature: human. Inside the Valor, Liam stood tall again. Bandaged but unbroken, he stared at the growing fleet on the holomap. "Broadcast to all ships," he ordered. "Let them know who we are." Nora sent the signal, a short message that flashed through every hull. We were the Exiled. We were the Forgotten. Now we return, not as one, but as many. On the Union side, panic set in. Commanders shouted for reinforcements. Fleets scrambled to form defensive lines. But it was already too late. The Ghost Fleet had arrived too fast, too suddenly. They had the advantage. Inside the Union's central command ship, Admiral Vec growled, "Engage everything. I want that." Fleet turned to ash. But fire answered fire. The first human ship struck from stealth, torpedoes piercing hulls, plasma waves disabling engines. Then the larger vessels moved in, surrounding Union formations and cutting them apart. They weren't just attacking, they were coordinating. Each human vessel moved with deadly purpose, because this wasn't just a war, it was retribution. The Valor led the charge, its wounded hull glowing from internal heat. Liam barked orders with, "Cold focus, target their command nodes, cut their network." Railguns slammed through control towers, drones zipped past enemy cannons and drilled into ship cores. Explosions dotted the void. Union captains trained to fight rebels and pirates were unprepared for the fury of Deathworlders. One officer whispered, "It's not just a fleet. It's like they've been waiting their whole lives for this." They had within hours the once mighty Discari Line lay in ruins. Union survivors fled. Ships burned or drifted lifeless through space. The human fleet didn't chase. They let them run, because the message was clear. The exile was over. Back on the Valor, the crew watched the flames fade across the stars. Liam stood at the front of the bridge, staring into the distance. "We could strike the capital again," someone said. Liam shook his head. "No, we already made them remember." He looked at the fleet behind them, warriors who had been scattered, now united. "It's time to rebuild." Nora's voice came through softly. "The galaxy will never forget this day." "They shouldn't," Liam replied, "because from now on, Earth stands again." Final scene. Across the galaxy, new beacons lit up. Worlds that had hidden their ties to Earth now raised its banner openly. The exile was broken. Humanity, once cast into silence, had returned not only in fire, but with unity. The Union would never be the same, and the stars, once cold and silent toward Earth, now echoed with a single truth: you cannot bury the fire, not forever.